following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. My name is Dave Canyon. There we go. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Welcome to the Dumbcast, everybody. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. Hello, Dum-Dums. Here I am in my porta potty. The Dumb-mobile. Yeah. We are southbound on the New York State Thruway. It is 8:22 Sunday morning, November 13, 5 days after the 2016 presidential election is over. It's over. There's been a winner. It's been confirmed. And it is Donald J. Trump. And the world has gone nuts. Absolutely out of its mind. Maybe not the world, but like Portland for some reason. Portland has picked up the going nuts mantle. They said, "Oh, what are we doing? I'm not doing that. Wait, I know. Let's go nuts. Let's act as if the world is over." Anyway, I don't want, I never wanted this to be a political show because I know that I don't know anything about politics. I just know what I think I know. But I'm willing to admit that I'm willing to, I'm willing to say that I think I know, but I don't know anything, and neither do you. Most of you don't, because if you did, you probably wouldn't be listening to the show. Or maybe you just want to listen to the show for fun. This show is for fun. Anyway, it is Sunday, November 13th. I am southbound the New York State Thruway. This is the fastest podcast on earth, Dumbing It Down with Dave, dumbingitdownwithdave.com, dumbingitdownwithdave at yahoo.com if you want to email me. And the tweet address, the Twitter, is at dumbwithdave, which I don't really utilize, but I got to get there, so I got to keep on mentioning it. And it is a not such a sunny day just now. It's cloudy. What do you care? But I just like to describe it because I'm in a car. I'm really, as far as I know, the only podcast that is done in their car, going to and from work, during their commute. So I do this during my commute, so maybe you can enjoy your commute just a little bit better. And there's a reason why I said that, because that's something I said in my very, very first episode, which I'm going to review at the end of this podcast, with a couple of minutes to go, and I'm calling it Dumbing It Down with Dave, or DIDWD, Dumbing It Down with Dave minus 40, because this is episode 41. Wow, 41. We're 4.1 of the way. I don't know what that means. Towards 100. Yeah, we're 4.1 of a way. Of the way. I think so. I think that's how it comes out. Because 4.1 times 10 would be 41. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm 4.1 of the way to 100. That's almost half. So, I did a little math there for you folks. That is probably the most educational bit we've done so far. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm going to review my first episode, which is... okay, it doesn't really matter. We'll talk about it later. So, this show, I think I'm going to call... perspective or perspectives. No, it's perspective. Perspective, protests, I don't know, president-elects, and the past. How about that? Yeah. Let's just give it a temporary name for now. I'll decide after the show, after the 30 minutes are up, what I'm going to actually call it. But so it doesn't matter. You're listening to it anyway, so what's the difference? Why am I telling you what I'm going to call it? I used to tell you what number it was, which we now know is episode 41. But, that's what I'm going to call it, because I'm going to cover those topics. Perspective, not perspectives. Yeah, perspective, it is in the singular. Perspective, protests, president-elects, that's in the plural for some reason, and then the past. Anyway, so a little somber news at the beginning of the show. So I've been mentioning my buddy Mark, who's a listener, although he's fallen behind in the episodes, and a commenter. Not so much an emailer anymore. He was the first emailer, but he has been commenting. He talks to me on the phone. He's been giving me some good reviews on the phone, but I can't really share them with you because they're not on paper. They're not official. So I could just be making that up. I could also be making it up if I could say to you, oh, people are emailing me from all over. Wow, this show is a major success. I probably should do that, right? I should just be like constantly, oh, wow, I can't believe the ratings I'm getting. Not that podcasts get ratings, but the statistics that I'm getting from Libsyn and Stitcher and Google Play and iTunes. I'm number 20. I'm number 10. I should just be saying all these things. Who would look it up? Who would care? I should just lie. I should lie like a politician. But I'm not doing that. I'm being very honest. I don't know who's listening, and I don't really care anymore. But Mark is a listener and a commenter, and so is Todd. Todd is a listener and commenter of mine. These are both buddies of mine. One I talk on the phone more because he lives in Mobile, Alabama, and the other one I've seen a little bit recently because we both now own motorcycles, and we took a couple of rides together, and he's commented as well. But I forgot to print out the comments and read them to you on the air, but we'll get to it. If I don't get to it now, I won't get to it today, but if I don't get to it now, I'll get it at DIDWD, which is the Dumbing It Down with Dave -40 review that I do at the end of the show. And the purpose of that will be to bring you up to speed. You know, if you wanted to go back to the origins of the show. We'll talk about it later. So, anyway, here's some somber news. And I hope it leads to something else because I want to cover all those 4 things I mentioned. So we have mutual friends, Todd and I. His wife knows my wife, and it's a small community, and we all know each other, kind of, So one of our mutual friends has a son, a young boy. I don't know his age. I thought he was like 8 or 10. Apparently he's like 14 or 15 now. I don't even know. But he's had cancer in the past, and we thought he was in remission. He's had all these different treatments and all that. I don't know the specific type of cancer, if there is one. I don't know the details. I don't think it really matters, to you, to the story. But he had it. We thought he was done. I mean, as far as I know, I'm not really all that involved. I'm not really all that tight with the people involved. My wife is more than I am, and I have a horrible memory anyway. So if I knew, then I don't know anymore. It's irrelevant. So he had it. He got rid of it, and now he has it again. It showed up in his blood the other day. He took a blood test, and now he's back in the hospital, and I guess he's going to get a bone marrow donation from his older brother because they have a match. I don't know how that all works. But anyway, so that's serious, and we're starting off the show with that. I'm not going to talk about it much, but I will talk about this, that, Todd texted me and said, hey, did you hear about so-and-so? He's got cancer. He's, whatever, he's got it again. And I said, yeah, it's very sad. And he said, yeah, kind of, I don't know the exact text. I guess I could look it up if I wanted to. He said that it puts things into perspective. And I forgot what I responded. I probably said, yeah, it does, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I said. But I tell you what I was thinking. What I was thinking is, yeah, I guess for most people, it does. It does. Of course. Any hardship puts things into perspective if you allow it. If you let it be. If you go, yeah, you know what? That kind of, that makes me think about these other things I'm involved in, sort of how, is futile the word? How ridiculous or how silly or how not important. I thought these things were important, but they're not really that important. So this will kind of lead me into president-elect and protests and then president-elect and all that other stuff. And then into the past. I feel like I'm a walking perspective machine. And I think this is a reason why people have a hard time getting along with me, or I have a hard time getting along with them. Because, let's go back a ways with me. My parents are deaf. I don't say it for anything except as a matter of fact, because I'm a pragmatic. The show is about pragmatism, which I have to look that up. Early episodes I say pragmaticism. And then pragmatism. I think it's pragmatism, not pragmaticism. Oh, there goes another deer. Oh, by the way, the New York State Thruway is littered with deer carcasses all over. It's just they are in a rut, supposedly, which is another word for heat, and they are running everywhere. And I saw a car hit a deer the other day at 66 miles an hour, head on, boom, right alongside my truck. Oh, it was unbelievable. What a sight. Anyway, that's some gory details there, but if you're on the New York State Thruway, and I don't know what deer are like in the rest of the country. So that's why I'm mentioning it to you now. It's November 13th. Chances are every November, which is kind of true, because I know my friend goes hunting during December or for turkey, during Thanksgiving, I guess, right? So bow and arrow, guns, I don't know what he does. But I know it's always about this time of the year, where the New York State Thruway is littered with carcasses. I mean, just disgusting, obliterated deer, all over the place. So my parents are deaf. So when you grow up with deaf parents, and if you grow up, like I'm sure, with any handicap situation, you're handicapped, they're handicapped, somebody's handicapped, you're handicapped physically, you're handicapped financially, it puts things in perspective. Now, am I saying Todd doesn't have things in perspective? No, he does. He's the same guy, and he involves himself in real things, in material things, or family things. He's a good man, and he was right for saying that. I mean, he's not wrong for saying that. He doesn't know really all the details of my life. I'm just using him as an example because he actually said it. So I try to draw from real life when I do this Dumbcast. But I feel like I am a walking perspective machine, and combine that, perspective with pragmatism, being pragmatic, and always searching for the truth, and being okay with that. I'm not looking for frills. I don't, I got a motorcycle, but I'm not going to dress it up. I could. It would be okay. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm really grasping for straws. I don't really want to own a motorcycle. I really want to go-kart racing or auto racing. I really want to. That's been like a childhood ever since I can remember. But it's very hard to do that financially, and it's also, I don't know how to technically make a race car work. I don't know how to make a go-kart work. I had a plan a couple of years ago, but the money that I thought I was going to have was diverted to the renovation of my house. It's a big story in my life. Instead of taking this money from a part-time job, which was a substantial amount of money, especially for part-time, I can tell you it was about $350 to $500 a week. $350 to $500 a week. You could really do some serious go-karting. You really can. And I was supposed to put my son in the cart, and we couldn't because I met Jack, my contractor friend, although he doesn't like to be called a contractor because he doesn't work with contracts, so I call him the agreeer. He says, yeah, well, okay, you can call me an agreeer. Not that anybody knows what an agreeer is. To agree. We agree to do this. So that's really like the number one lifelong ambition of mine, is to do that. And I don't know if I want to do it forever. I want to do it for like a whole season. I want to know what it's like to do a whole season of either go-kart racing or auto racing. Now, go-karting, when you people hear that word, that phrase, and you don't know anything about auto racing or whatever, it sounds like, what do you want? Why don't you just go to the amusement park? No, I'm talking about real professional go-kart racing. The uniforms, the boots, the helmet, the gloves, the high-speed engines, the curves, the whole thing, the passing, the competition. And I'm not really all that competitive, really. I'm competitive with myself. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to do it. I don't even care if I win or lose. I just want to do it. And I want to know that I can consistently do it for a whole season. 10 times, 15 times. I don't know, because, go-kart racing is weekly. If I had the money or the time, I'd love to do it twice a week at 2 different tracks. Anyway, that's neither here or there. But, so I got the motorcycle. I got other things in my life that are going on. This podcast, which is not a lifelong dream of mine. I used to do stand-up comedy. Not really so much a lifelong dream, but I always thought I did well at it, and I could do well at it. And I was doing well when I stopped. I was making some money, and things were going okay. I was a little lazy, like most comedians are, or some comedians are. But anyway, I had to stop, and I did the right thing by stopping because I took care of my family, and now my family's better off for it. Anyway, I like to get physically fit. I like to get into, run that marathon, run that half marathon, or marathons, I like to lose a lot of weight. I like to get muscular. When I was a kid, I saw Jim Brown in a movie. It wasn't called The Great Escape. It wasn't called The Dirty Dozen. It was a movie where he escapes from prison in a tunnel. I don't remember. You got to look up Jim Brown's IMDb. I'm pretty sure it was Jim Brown. And he crawls out of this hole, and look at this guy with his muscles. And I said to my father, I was in the back of the car, and we were at the Sunrise Drive-In in Sunrise, Long Island. Valley Stream, we were in Valley Stream, Long Island at the Sunrise Drive-In. And I said, oh, Dad, I want to look like that. Because, they used to say to me, eat your spinach and make it big and strong. Eat this and make it big and strong. And I used to watch Popeye. So I wanted to be big and strong like Popeye. So I pointed out to my father, I wanted to look like Jim Brown. And my father said, well, then you got to, eat your food and be big and strong. Because I was a very picky eater, I guess. I also had chapped lips. And I couldn't eat anything that was saucy or spicy. All my pastas had butter. I just constantly had chapped lips. Constantly. It was terrible. You should see my childhood pictures. I look like a street-dwelling immigrant in a foreign country where the water has feces in it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so perspective. How did I go from a child having cancer again to this? Well, I'm just saying, I keep things in perspective, I think, for the most part. But I didn't say that to Todd. Yeah, I already have perspective. I mean, that would have been a really douchey thing to say. What? No, not me. I already have perspective. But it's true. These horrible things that happen do put life in perspective. And I'm sharing that with you because maybe it'll put your life in perspective if you aren't already a walking perspective machine like myself. Is this a record-setting day for the word perspective? Yes. If somebody was keeping a total, today would be the day that perspective would win. This would be a record breaker. So, if Hillary Clinton had won the election on November 8th of 2016, which I'm being very honest with you, I think I mentioned it in episode 40. I podcast, You Decide. That was the name of it. I podcast, the letter I podcast, You Decide. What I talked about the news stations, about fair and balanced, and we report, you decide, all that baloney. So I sat in my truck last week on my way to Syracuse and Rochester, New York, trying to find stations that would give me a clear signal to listen to the election, and I really sat there prepared for Hillary to win. I even predicted, Mark can vouch, I wish he could send me an email or comment on one of these shows. I say, yes, Dave did in fact say, back a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when Hillary Clinton formally announced her candidacy, Dave Canyon said, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what happens, this is the future president of the United States, Hillary Clinton. Because it was such a done deal. It was I didn't care that Jeb Bush was thinking about running. I just knew what I knew of him, that there was no way this guy was going to beat Hillary. It just wasn't going to happen. The Clinton machine is too powerful. It's just too amazing. Although it didn't get her elected in 2008, she lost to Barack Obama, but that was a whole different story. I mean, Barack had that agent of change. He had that thing. He inspired a lot of people to come out and vote that normally wouldn't vote, which is the black vote. From what I understand, from what I've heard, he really energized that vote, the minority vote, the black vote, whatever, the Hispanic vote. These people who had not had anybody who remotely looked like them running for president, I guess, Jesse Jackson and Shirley Chisholm, but it's been a long time. I don't know if Jesse Jackson activated the vote, energized the minority vote. That's an interesting, nobody's been talking about that as far as I know. I'd like to know how well Jesse Jackson did. I think he came pretty close. Maybe not. I don't remember. I don't think he got the nomination. I don't think he came out of the convention with a nomination. I don't remember. Maybe you guys do. I don't really care. But I know that he was a colorful character, and I just wonder if he did a better job or not as good. If Barack. Well, listen. Here's my take on Barack Obama. This is what I ask people when they're talking about being liberal, talking about being open-minded, talking about, I voted for Barack Obama. Okay, let me ask you something. For those people, would you have voted for Barack Obama? And by the way, for those of you who didn't vote for him, think about this question. Do you think anybody would have voted for the same Barack Obama, the same voice, the same shirt and tie, the same attitude, everything the same, if there were two other conditions that were different than he is now or 2008? Do you think anybody would have voted, and if you did vote for him, do you think you would have voted for him if Barack Obama had an afro? Like a Wyatt Cenac, do you know who that is? Stand-up comedian afro, or like a Dr. J afro, or if he had a flat top like that rap, what was that? The Gap band, whatever, one of those bands, or if he had cornrows. Do you think white America would have voted for a guy with an afro or cornrows? Same guy, same policy, same perspective, same views, same opinions, same Oprah appearance, same everything, same wife, future presidential candidate Michelle Obama. Do you think anybody would have voted for him? I bet you it would have been a lot less. I don't think white America is ready for an afro in the White House. Yeah, they got a black guy in there. I think that's great. Listen, I voted for him in 2008. Would I have voted for him if I had an afro? I would have voted for Reggie Jackson. I don't know if I voted for Jesse Jackson. And Jesse Jackson didn't come across nearly as positive, as he was a little bit more radical, a little bit more militant, I think. I don't remember, so don't say, Dave, you're wrong. I don't remember. I was very young then, but I think Barack Obama was an agent of change, and he energized that vote, that whole black and minority vote. But I think cornrows or an afro, he's out. That ain't happening. Because I don't think he doesn't have an afro, right? I've never really stared at his head, but his hair doesn't really get too crazy. Oh, what's that other comedian? Kamar Bell, William A. Kamar Bell, whatever his name is. They used to have a show on FX. Yeah, there's no way. This guy, any afro at all, I just don't see it happen. I don't think even Ben Carson has an afro. Does he? Whatever it is, he keeps it tight. Anyway, I just don't think it would have happened. So Hillary lost to him. And I really thought she was going to win this year. I really thought that's it. She's paid her dues. She did Secretary of State, Senator of New York. She's going to get it. And when that first tally came in, when I heard on the radio, it was 33-3. She had she had Maine. No, not Maine. She had Vermont for 3 delegates or 3 electoral votes, whatever you call it. And Donald had 3 or 4, whatever he had 33. I was like, 33-3. Wow, what a big lead. Well, all it takes is one state to wipe out that lead. So I figured that's it. He's not gonna do anything else. And he kept on going and going and going. And the rest. And I still don't think they closed Michigan. I don't know if they called it. I don't know if they called it. But he might actually go over 300. And then they talk about a mandate, and I don't really know what that is. A mandate. I don't know why a certain vote makes a mandate. I don't know. Is there a rule about that, or are they just talking like, oh yeah, if he gets this number, there's a mandate? I know what a mandate is, but I'm not sure how we're using it in this context. I'm gonna have to look that up. What a mandate means in this context. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, so let's move on. So I was just as surprised that Donald J. Trump won the election as anybody else. I'm not disappointed, and frankly, I'm a little bit relieved. But at the same time, like I said if I didn't say it in episode 40, I said it in episode 39. It doesn't really matter. What matters to me is the amount of money I make. And the more money I make, the happier I will be. And that actually works for me. And I think it works for 99% of the American population. They just forget about it. It doesn't matter what they do on the Supreme Court. It doesn't matter what amendments do or do not get overturned or changed. It doesn't matter all these programs and policies and all this, LGBTQ, ABCD, their rights, the marriage rights, abortion rights. None of this. Every little thing that you've been hearing about, Iran, Iraq, Syrian, Illyrian, refugees, immigrants, safe zones, safety cities, harbors, all that crap. Free trade, not free trade, NAFTA, PPP, TTT, go on and on and on with all these issues every day. Balanced budget and all this crap. Ain't making a difference. Certain things, yes, I know I'm naive. Certain things will make a difference. But for the most part, not so much. Just go make money. Go make money, pay down your debt, buy things that are important, spend time with your family, spend time with yourself. Everything will be all right. Try meditating for 10 minutes a day. You'll feel better. I got to get back to that. So, but if Hillary had won, the point is, if Hillary had won, I'd be like, well, there you go. Yeah, he won. She won. And this is the way it is. Let's move on. I felt that way in 2012. 2008, actually, I didn't feel victorious. I went, oh, look, the guy I voted for, he won. I would have been okay if McCain had won. I had to be okay when Bush won, the last one, who we all kind of, I guess, agreed wasn't really on top of it, brilliance-wise. And then Dan Quayle, what was that guy all about, the Dan Quayle guy? No. Oh, that was the other Bush, wasn't it? Which one was Dan Quayle with? He was with somebody. Because Cheney had this last Bush. Cheney was the VP, right? So where did Dan Quayle come in? He came in with the other guy. Oh, yeah, the other Bush only did one term, right? Where? He got beat by Clinton, right? Okay. Anyway, so, Quayle. That was funny. So, it doesn't matter to me. And I certainly wouldn't have been rioting. I certainly wouldn't be protesting. And I certainly wouldn't be doing damage to property, public and private. I certainly wouldn't be killing anybody. I certainly wouldn't be yelling into the microphone of a newscast, hey, somebody's going to die. Somebody has to die. I wouldn't be inciting all this violence. And I definitely wouldn't be buying into this rhetoric or whatever it is that's being said and these professional riot makers. I mean, we all saw the videos of that company that was hired, those people that were hired to incite violence at Trump rallies or whatever and make it look bad. These guys got paid to incite these incidences. I wouldn't pass the DNC, the Democratic National Convention or Congress, or whatever they call it, the DNC, to incite violence again. Why are we protesting? He's been in office, not yet. He's been in office a total of negative 30 some odd days. Crap, 26 minutes in. I only got 4 minutes to go. So it's ridiculous. Stop your protesting. Don't you got stuff to do? By the way, who's got all this time? What time do you must be unemployed, or you're an actor, or which is another way of saying unemployed. How do you have time for protesting? And why Portland? What is that? Why not? Well, I think they're protesting in other cities too. But I really always wonder, who's got time? Don't you got kids to take care of? Don't you have a PTA meeting? Don't you have a varsity or JV football game to go to? Don't you have groceries to pick up? Don't you have laundry? Don't you have a yard? Don't you have leaves to rake? Don't you have maintenance to do somewhere? Don't you want to watch TV? What's with all this protesting? Give the guy a chance. We must reject the president-elect. Okay, it rhymes. Good for you. That's nice. That's not bad. It's not in the top 10 of things to say. And the other one, he's not my president. We don't recognize him. What are you talking about? Listen, he won. And these people are out of their mind. It's just crazy. And you're wasting your time. How conducive is that to making anything better? What do you think? You're going to overturn the results? You think we're going to do a do-over? Time out, do-over. We're not playing stickball in the middle of the street in Brooklyn or Manhattan. This is the election. It's over. Nobody's even screaming of corruption. They're not saying that this is a rigged election or anything like that on either side. They're just not happy. They're not happy. They're delusional, and they're losing I was going to say the S word. They're losing their stuff, and they're out of their minds. And you're stopping traffic on the Pacific Highway, we call Highway 101 in California. You're stopping traffic. You're killing people. You're causing damage. What is this? And then it's not bad if you do it one day. You go home, get some sleep, and come back the next day. You got that much energy? You're going back for seconds? Don't you? You must really be disregarding so many things in your life. And that's what I'm interested in. Not in what they have to say, but what they're not doing in lieu of what they're supposed to be doing. They're protesting. What are you not doing? What's not getting done? What is your life? What are those people's lives like? Where do they come from? I'm really curious about the life of a person who decides to go out in the streets and make a spectacle of themselves and create damage and havoc. All right. Jesus, I'm not going to get to it. All right. President-elect, so there you go. Trump, I don't know. Let's see who he puts in the cabinet. It doesn't really matter to me. Just got to give him time. Seems like the transition is going well, although Hillary did make a remark that I didn't appreciate. I don't remember what it is now, but it has something to do with she's concerned with the people of the United States not being able to walk the streets safely and without fear. Some crazy comment, which is alluding to the fact that somehow she still thinks that Donald Trump incites violence, which I don't. And I don't think he's a racist. I don't think he's anything except a guy who really wants to fix America. And I guess that's the way I think because I'm not college educated, according to the pollsters. Okay, 60 seconds to go. All right, episode 1. What is it called? I don't even know what it's called, but it's episode 1. Dumbing It Down with Dave in previews, I think it's called. Episode 1. I refer to. Do you like origins? You like those superhero origins? Origins? Well, that's what this is. Here's the origin. You're going to hear the origin, and you're going to hear how this is not even the first episode 1. It's about the 10th episode 1. Oh, maybe the 4th. I had a lot of issues with creating episode 1. So go back to Dumbing It Down, go on the Spreaker app or on the website, dumbingitdownwithdave.com. All right, and you'll hear episode 1 if you want to start. This is Dumbing It Down with Dave minus 40. DIDWD minus 40. All right, don't forget Pipe Dream, comedypipe.com. Listen to them. The mileage report is 220,081 miles. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, Godspeed, and great skills.